new border wall and hiring Border Patrol agents, keep in place existing individual tax rates, create savings accounts for kids with a one-time deposit of $1,000, increase the child tax credit by about $500. The bill on this is estimated to be between $4 and $5 trillion over the next decade. How much do you think this is all going to cost?
Well, that's about the right estimate, but at the same time, we have historic savings for the American people, cuts to government to make it more efficient and effective and work better for the people. That was a big campaign promise of President Trump and a big promise of ours, and we're going to achieve that. So in the calculation here, there's more than $1.5 trillion in savings, Margaret, for the people, and that's the largest amount, biggest cut in government really in at least 30 years, and if you adjust for inflation, probably the largest in the history of government. So we're proud of what we produced here. We've checked all the boxes. We're all the things that you mentioned in existence in addition to American energy dominance, investing in our military industrial base, which is appropriate for us to talk about this weekend, and so many other priorities. And that's why we call it the One Big Beautiful Bill. I think arguably it's the most consequential legislation that Congress will pass in many generations, and it's a long time coming.
Yep. You want to go first, Gray?
So I didn't necessarily read the bill. I didn't print it out, but I did see the cliff notes. And basically, they cut Medicaid and they cut EBT. So for me, of course, I'm on the left. I don't agree with cutting stuff for the poor and giving to the rich. And what's strange is even when it goes to the Senate, there's two Republicans. I know Rand Paul is one of them. They want more cuts. So they're having issues with Republicans who want more cuts. So it's a lot, like you guys have said, but Trump ran on, being for the people. And I just feel like this is the same thing Republicans always do. They sell a dream and then they give money to the rich.
I mean, I don't think you can give money to the rich.
Of course you can.
No, you don't give money to the rich. They earn their money.
Of course you can.
You're giving money to the poor when they didn't earn it. Like, we gotta stop. We gotta stop saying that. Like, we want to reward people who bullshitted all their life, made bad decisions, and now we want to sit here and say we're giving money to the rich.
So
you know how much it take. You know how much it. Man, I'm still trying to get there. We here on the Man Cave trying. We hoping one day we got 2,000 people watching, so we can all eat just off of doing this. But it's not easy. We can't. I know I've been with y'all for what, 6 months, 7 months. Yeah. So we can't sit here and say we're giving money to the rich. This got to stop, man.
Slim, you over there laughing? What you think?
Yeah. Vogue is so funny, bro. They be bullshitting. Hey, man, look. I was going to say, everybody going to look for something negative in anything that Trump does. I was laughing because the first thing Gray said was he going to cut Medicaid and EBT. Out of everything you just seen on that clip, they didn't even mention it. The first thing you said was that. I say, man, that's all you got out of that, man. God. But hey, I'm gonna tell you, man. Again, man, I'm proud of what Trump is doing, man. He never disappoints me. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. I don't see how you can not respect what this man is doing. Other countries is respecting what this man is doing. And the people right here in his own country can't even respect what he's doing. And that's crazy because the last corpse that was literally in office was just destroying everything by the moment. And everybody thought it was all good. You know what I mean? And then you got our people following these crazy rhetorics, the BLMs and all of that. And now they running around entitled and twerking in department stores and all that type stuff. I'm not cool with that, man. So, do what they got to do. I think this is another opportunity to put money in people's pockets. And again, hopefully they open their eyes so they can see. Because when it comes to Trump, TDS is real. Trump derangement syndrome is real. It will divide your family. You don't even know why. Just happens. They just get away from the logic, man. So that's basically all we're dealing with. Everything this man is doing is what he said he was going to do when he got in office. I'm not surprised. Thank God he's in. Trump won, man. We back.
I'm gonna go to Nick, but I'm gonna say, man, the TDS, all it is we're holding a mirror. That's all Trump is doing, to hold a mirror to people, and they don't like it. That's why they get mad at you. That's all it is a mirror. Go ahead, Mr. Nick.
So I wanted to ask Gary, when you're talking about Medicare and EBT, correct me if I'm wrong. When he was talking about Medicare, he was talking about illegals in the country will no longer get free Medicare. I agree with that. Okay. And then if he was talking about unemployment and benefits, my understanding was if you were not working or you were not actively looking for a job, then those programs will be cut. They won't be cut indefinitely. But if you're not legal here, you're not getting any of those programs, right? But if you're legal here, born here, and you're actively looking for a job, then he's going to give you those programs. So my question to you, Gary, do I have it wrong, or where am I wrong?
Anytime I hear Trump or Republican Party say, "Oh, this is specifically for immigrants," I immediately say this is propaganda. They're using this as a veil to kind of try to say this is for immigrants, but we're going to cut this from other people. What I did like was, because you said Medicare. Medicare is for the elderly people. So Trump was standing by Medicare and Social Security, saying he wasn't going to affect the elderly, but he's just going to affect the impoverished. So I don't think that this just completely goes to just illegal immigrants. I also saw something that happened with Social Security that people are going to be losing their benefits. I think that's just a way for them to make cuts, but have people on the right and other people agree with it because they've demonized immigrants. So they say that, and then they take it from people unbeknownst that they're also going to be affected. So he did say that, but I don't think that that's the reality.
So you're just saying he just laid it out there, but that's not what's going to happen.
Right, like for example, like the Dodge cuts is supposed to be the cut, spending that we shouldn't be doing. Like,
right.
Yes, it probably was some corruption involved, but a lot of people who work on federal jobs, people on my own Facebook feed. I remember this guy; he was so happy to get this IRS job that he posted saying, "Yeah, it's a sad day, but I lost my job because of this administration." And I think he was a Trump supporter. And, it's just like, wow, it's real people being affected. And for me, I don't know if it's because of social media or anything else. This is the first time I've seen people be directly affected by something the president is doing. Like I see on TV or the internet, that I go on social media and I see actual people affected.
What about those people that lost their job when they didn't take that 19 shot, man?
Slim, I mean, here's the thing with COVID-19. The thing with COVID-19, you're affecting other people. So, if you were by yourself and you weren't affecting anybody else, I know that this is not, people may feel like this is wrong, but if you're going to affect the local population, you're not an individual. So,
all right. I got one more question. Based on what you just said, do you believe that today?
Yes, I still believe that.
Also, Slim, even if I were to play your paradigm, who signed the executive order March 9th of 2020 in order to allow the states to handle that the way that they did so? Who was that? Who was in office at the time?
But you're talking about when Trump said that the states can handle it as they see fit?
Well, yeah, I was talking to Slim, but okay, now you gave him the answer, Nick.
Okay.
I know you're my boy, but I was trying to ask him a question.
Okay.
No,
go ahead, but I mean, state your point.
Yeah, no. Who was I mean, you're saying it's bad. All right. Who signed the executive order March 9th of 2020 that allowed the states to make that decisions?
Okay. He just answered it. It was Trump.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. So I don't see where the symmetry breaker on that one was. You're acting like that's something he didn't cause either. But at the same time, right?
Oh, you saying he caused what? What did he cause?
You're talking about people getting fired because of certain jobs with C19.
Absolutely. I'm
Now the only
saying
ones out of his control was maybe the military, because we kind of been running like that for a while.
what I'm saying is, if Gray is going to have that same energy, you got to have the same energy on people losing their jobs for the COVID-19. That's what I'm saying. So don't
Interesting.
have the energy of people losing their jobs based on Doge finding out there's corruption in the system, when you don't have the same energy when so many nurses lost their jobs during the COVID-19 scenario, all because they didn't want to take the shot. There were people who had religious reasons on not taking a shot, and they lost their jobs. So if that's, just have the same energy.
But hold on, Slim. Didn't the whole CDC and everybody that investigated said that there was an overreaction to COVID, that COVID did come from a lab, that the vaccines didn't work? They
Correct.
basically admitted the whole lie that, Gary, this is not a personal shot at you, but they admitted that a lot of people that were concerned, like me and my family, that didn't take the shot, and a lot of other people that didn't take the shot, that it seemed weird that they were making us do all these things. And now if you look, Dr. Fauci and the CDC, all that stuff said there was an overreaction, and the things that they told us to do at the time, right? Take a vaccine, not see your family. If your grandma is passed away, you can't visit her, whatever it was, right? They said that was an overreaction, and none of those things that they did actually helped and actually caused harm, right?
And another thing,
Chris,
C19 was in a lab.
Chris, Trump didn't mandate the vaccines. It's when he left is when the vaccines were mandated. That's another thing.
Well, yeah,
So
we
these
know
are the
that
things
the
that I look
Democratic
at.
Party's called it the Trump vaccine, and we'll never take the Trump vaccine. And as soon as he got out, it was mandatory.
It
We
was
know that.
mandatory. That's
Right.
weird to me, bro.
You're telling me there was a federal law that made it mandatory? Can you tell me what the and also you said this COVID was made where there's evidence it was made in a lab in Wuhan. Can I get evidence for that too?
Well, why don't you look at the CDC just said it was plausible that it came from the lab. So, what do you
So
think? So you're saying it came from an
It should
animal?
be on their website.
well, yeah, I'm actually on the CDC and I'm on the NIH, right? And let's go to CDC. It said lab or leaked, right? That's what I was looking at. And it quite literally says in the very first, it says in the very first sentence, right? Because I'm just going to read this whole thing. The majority of the scientific community maintains that there is no direct evidence of SARS-CoV-2, right? SARS-CoV-2. The COVID-19 was created or ever genetically engineered in a laboratory. So yeah, I'm on. That's the first publication of CDC. Now, if we go to the NIH, right, which is also another thing that's
So where are you saying it came from?
well, no, I'm asking you, right, where the evidence was for the lab, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I was asking.
I'm telling you, and I don't have the article, okay, but I'm telling you that they said it was a probable lab leak.
Okay, who's they? Because the
These are
CDC.
people from the CDC.
Well, I'm looking at the CDC. It quite literally says no direct evidence that SARS-CoV-2 causing the novel coronavirus was ever created or genetically engineered in a laboratory. So if it was leaked from a laboratory, if the CDC is saying that it was never created or genetically engineered in a laboratory, then there's no lab leak.
Okay, so you're saying that it was never created in a lab? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm asking you where you got that from.
What
You
is
said
your
you got it.
opinion?
Okay, cool. Why don't you just show me like who said it in the CDC? I'm just curious, right? You said the
Okay,
CDC. They don't say that.
Okay, so you think it was what? It came because the only other option is it came from an animal, right? Those are
Okay.
the only two options that it came from, either from an animal or from a lab. I'm saying, right, and more people are leaning that it came from the lab than an animal.
Who? The CDC's not saying that.
RFK,
Who?
I mean, so where you see
RFK. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Oh, so RFK.
Yeah, right now it's just speculation.
Yeah,
But there are some government officials. They're
that
split.
came out
There's
and
some
said
that
that this is
saying
a
the
lab
lab.
leak.
Yeah, so
I mean,
The bottom
excuse me
line
that-
is the people were bamboozled, and they're finding out. You don't pardon Dr. Fauci for no reason. Okay, there's a reason that this guy is pardoned, and I want to find out why did Joe Biden do that. I really want to know why, because last I heard, you have to commit a crime to be pardoned. What crime did he commit?
Full disclosure, my mother works for the CDC, but this was way before COVID. She's been almost 20 years, and she tracks STDs. So to your question, Slim, they don't care. Their whole job is to stop the disease from going to the next person, which is like if something was like a bio.
Sorry to cut you off. In April 2025, the White House of the United States officially declared of the website of COVID-19 origins was from the lab in Wuhan. Is that good enough for you?
So who
I
declared
just
that?
said the White House.
Okay, so the White House declared it. Okay,
Okay.
cool. All the way in
Okay.
2025. But how come the CDC has maintained
Okay,
2020?
that's good enough for me. The White House said it's good enough for me.
Okay, cool. So
You
that's
want
good.
God to come down and tell you it? I don't get it.
Well, I mean, I don't know why.
You're acting like
No.
I just came up with it 5 minutes ago.
Well, yeah, you kind of just did because the CDC.
No, I didn't. I just told you the White House.
Yeah, in 2025, conveniently, but the scientific community says,
Conveniently,
no,
not
no, that's
conveniently,
fine.
that's what they
I
said.
mean, that's fine, right? That's
Okay.
fine. So nobody in the scientific community as a whole makes that claim, but the White House does.
Listen, I don't know. It sounds like you were for COVID. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well,
So you're telling me, so cool. So now the at home.
For the stay at home, separate
when I ask you for the scientists, when I ask you for the scientists,
let businesses cut
right?
down.
Let's
right?
go.
Exactly.
So the executive order in March 9th, 2020, caused by Trump, is what caused those.
No, you didn't, because you just stated
and
that.
I'm going to read it to you too, if you want me to.
You just said
March
that.
9th of 2020, Donald J. Trump.
All right, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. That's because we on a big beautiful bill.
We got a super chat.
Yeah,
we got a $10 super chat. I lived in Cuba till I became 31 years old in 2015, and I came to the U.S. in 2016. It was the first time I learned about Trump, and I know Trump equals Fidel Castro to this day, and Trump has confirmed that. So there's someone from Cuba saying that basically Trump is Fidel Castro.
Hugo, you saying you leaving again, or we should leave?
Harsh.
Does he live here? Where does he live?
I asked him, Hugo, you want to put in a chat where you live? Oh, he came to the U.S., but
no freedom, no opportunities. What?
He's responding to RJ in there, but yeah.
Well, regarding the bill, sorry, let's get back to that. I think that especially the tax cuts, the reason I think that it worked and it was good is because the Democratic Party didn't touch that and didn't say anything when Joe Biden was in for those 4 years. They talked about it, but they never had an idea, or they never even proposed a new tax idea because it's good. And correct me if I'm wrong, but also, doesn't it raise the taxes on the rich by 2%, and the middle class and lower class, doesn't it drop it by a couple of percent?
Yeah.
If you're going to page 317, 344, and 357, that actually wouldn't be a true statement, because the provisions early on, for like example, the itemized deduction, which is valued at $3,000, they only get temporary relief until 2028. Same thing with that child tax credit, CTC. For some reason, after 2028, things pick back up. They would actually pay more. They would actually start paying more in taxes from 2028 going into 2029.
Who pays more?
So the middle and bottom quartile. Well, actually, since we're looking at this right now, 357, 362, and 371. After 2028 is when everybody under the 5% would pay more taxes, because when you only have the itemized deductions, 3,000, right? That's the magic number. That used to be permanent, but now it's not going to be after 2028. They would actually have a decrease in their post-tax income, because that's going away, plus their tax hike as well. That can be found on 366, 371, and 372. So 2028, I don't know why they picked 2028 out of all years, because how long is this bill supposed to be when it passes? Like 10 years?
Is it another 10 year?
Well, I thought, yeah, because every tax bill is theoretically, I believe, 10 years, 8 to 10 years, I believe. So, yeah, that's why, like, when we're looking at the longitudinal breakdown on 317, 367, 372. And I'm gonna sit back and listen here in a second, because I just had a formal debate on this Sunday, and I still have PTSD from reading too much. So I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna tap out on this one. I'm gonna just listen to you guys.
For sure. We got a super sticker from Nora. I don't know what the sticker looks like, but got a super sticker from her. Vo, did you have anything else?
No, I just I like what the bill is doing. I know you don't like the cuts for food stamps and Medicaid, but the thing is, people need to get up. What Trump is doing, he's forcing people to get their ass up and get back to work and stop relying on the government. As I keep saying, the government shouldn't be as big as it is. Like a lot of these grown ass men shouldn't be in the IRS building as customer service reps or whatever they doing. Now, if you an accountant, auditor, like you went and did your years and you got a specialized skill, cool. Other than that, leave that to these baby mamas, single mothers. Let them go in there and be customer service reps, and y'all get your ass out here and fill in some potholes. Like I gotta redo the suspension on my car because I'm just hitting potholes every damn day. And some of y'all want to sit in here and AC and live off government jobs. No, that's why I'm glad Trump's doing what he's doing, because he like a lot of y'all grown ass men need to get out here and do some
Sorry
real
to cut
work
you
on
off,
this
Booker, but didn't
infrastructure.
Clinton cut like 400,000 jobs when he got in those 7 years? 400,000 federal jobs?
Who, Clinton?
Bill Clinton.
I'm not sure. You know, I was a teenager then, but
I was young
I've
too.
heard rumors that,
I wasn't old enough to vote, but I looked it up to see if it was the first time that a president cut so many federal jobs, and it's not. I mean, Bill Clinton in 7 years, you can Google this, cut 400,000 jobs, and that's how he balanced the book.
Yep. So,
wait, he balanced the book by cutting jobs? Are you gonna not?
That was one way of him balancing the. Are you saying he didn't cut 400,000 jobs?
Oh no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that's not a big reason how he balanced the budget. He actually did it through a very good tax plan that, for like example, a system of WOTC tax credits and things like that. Right. That's maybe a tiny proponent of it, but
Okay.
yeah, like his tax plan allowed American businesses to use a lucrative form of tax credits like we've never seen to go reinvest into their businesses, generating more revenue and hire more
That's
people.
when we had more manufacturing in America too.
That
A lot
has
more.
that tax plan was the conduit for that. So I'm gonna go throw it back to this tax plan. This one actually extended the repeal of what's called Section 199, which is going to hurt manufacturing. Section one.
America?
Yeah, Section 199 allows these industries like manufacturing, which tend to be centered in the American Midwest, in order to write off 20% of their is it capex? Yes, capex, right? So they can write off, as long as they're investing back into their business, better equipment, better technology, hiring people, paying wages, and things like that. Now, right, I'm just making an observation, right, that's in the bill. We're going to see how it shakes out, but I don't know. I feel like Section 190.
Hold on, let me get that right. You're saying companies that are in America that hire American, build in America, will get a 20% deduction, right?
That's no, because that repeal was taken out during the first Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. That was there before. This, from what I looked at the bill, right, 200 to 350, you can find that repeal still extended through 2029. Yeah.
So they took that away, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So they first took it away in 2018, right?
Okay.
2018, and then I thought in this bill they were going to put it back, right? And it's just still not there again until 2029.
That doesn't make sense if he's trying to push manufacturing in America.
Okay, hey, it's still repealed. It says repealed Section 199A. I mean, if it didn't make sense now, I mean, I guess the first time, but I'm just saying though, like that was a big proponent of Bill Clinton's tax plan. It was,
so it was repealed in 2017, but it was replaced by Section 199A, which focuses on pass-through deductions, different deduction, which is like a S corp. So that I'm very familiar. Accounting is my background, so yeah, that's what it was replaced with. So basically, he's trying to even the playing field between small business and bigger corporations.
so
Since the tax was lowered to 21%, the corporate tax.
So when it comes to these manufacturing and small businesses are normally registered as what?
LLC, right?
LLC
or C corp.
It depends if you don't have it. Yeah, C corp. Well, you don't get anything if you're an individual. You're pretty much sole proprietor. But most people, if you have people on it, it's going to be a C corp.
Yeah. So this is a long flushed out conversation for the historical data. But like what I'm saying though, is that the 199, right? If we're focusing on American manufacturing, right? That was better because we're talking about now small businesses. It's a whole different conversation, but I'm focusing on the engine, right? The manufacturing located
Yeah.
in the Midwest, right? That provision, right? So I understand the sentiment of trying to like even the playing field, but if we're talking about increasing manufacturing, the original 199 was great because 20% is huge. Because you're an accountant, right? You're familiar with PP&E, property, plant,
Yes.
and equipment. Yeah,
Yep.
that would have been like, imagine making, being able to write off like, I don't know, to put scenario in like $1 million worth of new equipment that you invested in your own business, prorated at 20%. But yeah, so I'm just a little bit confused with that part. Now I can get the sentiment to small business and manufacturing, but what would be like, how are they competing with each other when you have a big factory and then you have a small business somewhere elsewhere? Like, what's the relationship there? Because one's meant to, make, materials at large with raw material, with that involves a lot of what's called CapEx, versus a small business that's doing something else. Like, that's what I'm trying to see. And maybe that's something you can teach me.
Yeah. I would have to look at it because like I'm looking at it now. It's a lot to
Yeah,
really.
and like I said, that's a big, like, it's
Yeah.
like a numbers breakdown. But all I'm
Yeah.
saying, that's subjective based on what I believe for menu. I think being able, every time that we've ran some sort of lucrative like tax credit system that favors PP&E deductions, it's only been good for American manufacturing. I can't name a time where it hasn't been. But we can just move on to the other.
For
Cool.
sure.
Cool. But yeah, like I said, I think we could sit and whine and cry, but just like I think we got to get back to figuring out the workarounds for bills, even if it's not your person in office, because the whole party system was more so like a debate and a discussion, and we are all supposed to come together and figure out how to move forward. I think we've lost that. Now it's a thing, and it even goes back to Israel and Gaza. Like everybody now is picking sides, and the other side is the enemy. I think that's the biggest issue, and it's crazy how I can bring all that together. That's what's going on now. Everybody's picking sides, and we're enemies. Instead of saying, "Hey, you think like this, I think like this. How can we come to the middle?" That's what really needs to happen.
Great way to plug the new party over, because that's what we doing. But Mr. Nick, what's your final thoughts? I think this is your first. You've been on a new party a couple of times, but I think this is your first time on a man cave. So give us your final thoughts and tell us what you think of the man cave.
I'm all for debate, back and forth and sparring. I love it. And I love it when people come with different ideas. We don't all have to have the same ideas. And if we don't have the same ideas, I don't mind pushing people and people pushing me on my ideas, but it doesn't mean once we're done with this podcast, I will have a problem with you. I will stick to my point and you can push me and I'll push you, but that doesn't mean I'll have ill will towards you. And that's what I think this podcast is about, bringing people from different backgrounds with different opinions and just pushing each other to spar with good, healthy debate. And once the debate's over, it's over.
For sure. Absolutely. Slim, what's your final thoughts?
Hey man, good show. I loved it. A lot of smoke. I love the debating. It's awesome. I didn't know Chris was a Republican, but it's all good. But yeah, man, each and every Monday and Wednesday, man, the Man Cave. Good show, fellas. Do it again.
For sure. Chris, this is your second time on the Man Cave, but you also went on a new party, and you went on Dana with a data who's with Judge Joe Brown. So we've been doing a lot of stuff with you. What's your final thoughts?
Are you muted?
You can't hear you, Chris.
You're muted.
Stupid mic. Can you hear me now? We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to have a place to come together, and once again, and I do agree to the sentiment of the coming in the middle and, just finding the resolution, no matter which side, and all this other stuff. So I'm glad we can continue to all collectively exercise our First Amendment together. And Mr. Nick, sorry if I got a little bit too heated there. I like to compete, but you're a great guy with a great perspective. And I'm glad we can come to the middle, about actually, finding the solution in the Middle East or like anywhere else that we had a point, because I think we're just both trying to find a solution. So, really appreciate your time. Hope we can have a conversation again. And yeah, guys, good show. Let's do it again sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Nick, for coming, and Chris. Normally with Slim and Vulgar, I'm just talking about hood topics and, you know, what women doing. So I was glad that we could come and like talk about foreign policy. You know, we do talk about politics a lot, but Chris, you brought up a lot of stuff you really research, and Mr. Nick, you have a lot of like insight and like actually being in Israel. So it's always nice to have someone that's actually a part of something, because, you know, it was a big complaint with people speaking on other groups these days, even with Black people, Jewish people, whatever. So great conversation. I like that we was able to come together and have this conversation. I hope that we can keep coming and talk about things that's affecting America, and hopefully we can make a change. Vulgar.
All right. So to wrap up, here's the thing. If y'all make good decisions, while bills may affect you, it's not going to affect you as bad as if you're getting assistance. Because my thing is, if you're above 25 years old and you're getting any type of government assistance, you're making poor decisions unless you're disabled or something out of your control. So that's what we got to get towards. And also too, the left is going to keep saying 4 or 5 trillion on this bill, but y'all got to remember, nothing's free. If you get free anything, it's always scaled down, right? So even though it's 4 or 5 trillion, y'all really got to watch what Trump is doing as far as cuts and stuff like that with Doge or whatever else. Because if he's able to make 6 trillion in cuts and his bill costs 4.5 million, we've actually saved 1.5 trillion or something. My math off now, but that's all I'm saying. So y'all got to quit letting the left push you on things, and we just got to give things a chance. We got to give it a chance and just see what happens. And y'all need to be figuring out how y'all can benefit off either party that's in office. That need to be the thing from here on out, is know how you can benefit off every bill that's passed. Man cave.
For sure. Thank you guys for coming. Have a good night.
Hey guys, we've got something big coming up. We're headed in person to cover the Diddy trial on June 2nd and June 3rd, and we need your help to get there. As you know, we are now celebrating our 1-year anniversary, so it's an exciting time for us. We'll be making exclusive in-life content, interviews, updates from the courthouse, and behind-the-scenes moments you won't see anywhere else. This is about more than just one case. It's about getting the truth out there, accountability, and bringing our community real, unfiltered coverage straight from the front lines. If you rock with what we do and want to support independent media, hit the link below and drop something in the Cash App. Cash App below. Please support us. Every dollar counts. Travel, lodging, care. And we're doing this for the new party team. For always supporting us. Let's make some noise.